Okay. Uh, so today let's discuss about operating system. So if we take DevOps, actually 99% of the servers, most of them they are Linux based. Um, if we take operating system, like what is operating system? Actually, operating system it is like a software. It will manage the computer hardware, software resources, and everything. If you see here, it will be managing the CPU, memory, storage, and input-output devices, everything. And
Mm.
on top of this operating system, we will be installing the applications like Chrome or database or any application. It will be installed on the operating system. So, what is the main uses of operating system? Like in case if we have multiple applications running, it will allocate the required CPU and then required RAM and then required hard disk. So it will manage everything, allocating between different applications. And then in operating system, we have like file management. So in case if we take Windows, in Windows we have folders. For example, we have C drive, D drive, and inside each drive we will have different folders. For example, desktop, documents, pictures, everything. Um, so in case if you take a Unix system, it will be like a tree file system. It will be initially we will have a root, and from root we will have different directories. Whereas on Windows OS we will have multiple roots. Like each folder will act as a root. So if you see Linux, initially it will be root, and then we will have different folders like slash bin, slash opt, slash etc, like that. Whereas Windows will have different folders, different root folders, and then inside each thing we will have separate subfolders. And then device management, like we will have different devices connected to our operating system. And then in operating system actually we will be having security as well. Okay, so okay, yeah, in operating system, we will have the security. So security is that we will be managing users and permissions. And for example, and in Linux, we will have like each user will have a separate own space and different permissions. And then we have networking as well. For example, if we have a Linux system, for example, let's consider google.com. So we have given the domain name as google.com, but the actual thing is like it will have the IP addresses. Uh, so for each system, it will have numbers like 1.1.1.1. Because computers doesn't know about alphabets and all. It will be just knowing the IP addresses. So if we see this one, so so we have a system. This system will be having an IP address. So IP address will be like, for example, let's consider 1.1.1.1, and we have another system. It will be like 1.1.1.2. Machines will understand just numbers. So in case if this system has to communicate to this system, we will be using this IP here. When we use this IP, this system will know about this system. We, but as a humans, we can't remember these things. If it is 1.1.1.1, it's fine. We will be remembering. For example, if you take google.com, it will have IP like 172.169.171.2. We okay. If it is just google.com, we can remember. For example, if you take like some other website like Yahoo, it will have something like 96.31.2.1. So in case if it goes like this, we will have like multiple systems, right? So we will not be able to understand like we will not be able to remember each and everything. So in order to minimize this one, we are using domain names, like domain naming system. So we just give it a name like Yahoo. It is easy to remember for human reference, but for machines, it will understand just the IPs. That is what IP is. Okay, let's go to PPT. Okay, so networking. So this will have IP addresses. For transmitting data, it uses those IP addresses. And then we will have this kernel. So how these things work? So actually, um, if you take normal a computer, so initially we will have the hardware. We will have the hardware. So hardware is like we will have RAM, CPU, hard disk. This is called hardware. And in case if you have to install something like if you have to communicate with this one, it needs an operating system, OS. So operating system can be anything like Mac OS, Linux, Windows, anything can be there. So once we install the operating system, then we can install the applications, app 1, app 2, app 3. So we will have the hardware, then we will have OS, and OS will have these applications installed. And in between this operating system and hardware, we will have something called kernel. We will have something called kernel. This kernel will is the heart of this entire operating system. So it will, in case if we are using some keyboard, it will contact to kernel, and kernel will shift. It will redirect to whichever operation it has to be done. It will redirect there. So everything will be handled by kernel. Okay. So we have these devices like printer or keyboard or something. So those devices will have a driver. Driver will be there. Those drivers will contact kernel, and kernel will contact operating system. So similarly, even in the operating system we have kernel, hardware is connected, and applications are connected to those things. It will work like that. And then if we see here, the same slide is there. Like we will have hardware, kernel, and on kernel we have operating system. So this is like Android OS. Even Android OS is Linux based, and this is Debian based OS. So hardware, kernel, operating system. This is the procedure. In Linux, we have distributions like Ubuntu, Mint, CentOS, Debian, and then RHEL. So we have different versions of Linux, and Linux kernel is most widely used. So they, even in Mac they use Linux. In Mac they use Linux. In Android they use Linux, and even in all the servers and web apps they use Linux. So how can we like we have this kernel, but how do we get in touch? Like how do we talk with this kernel? So one is like we can directly use GUI on Windows. We click on a few things, right? For example, we will click on something, it will directly communicate, or else we can use the command line interface. Using that, we can directly talk with the kernel. And then three main operating systems are Linux, Windows, and Mac OS. And then we have something called client OS and server OS. Client OS is that on our normal laptops we will have client OS installed, whereas server OS is that on the servers. For example, if we are using some web app or some other backend servers or DB servers, those will have server OS. Server OS like in Windows, we can use Windows 2012, 2016, those things. In Linux, we will use RHEL, Red Hat servers. And then Mac OS versus Linux. What is the difference between Mac OS and Linux? So both use Unix as a core operating system. So most of the commands which run, it will be like similar. If you are able to run something on Linux, we will be able to run the same on Mac OS as well. And then why learn Linux as a DevOps engineer? So in case if you have to deal with servers, or else if you want to install something, or else if you want to configure any of the servers, then actually you have to learn Linux, because Linux native technologies, like whatever tools we take, like Git, Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform, AWS, everything, everything is based on Linux as a native technology. So we have to know about this Linux. And then we have something called virtualization and virtual machines. So what exactly is virtualization and what exactly is virtual machine? So we can take the same example. So here, for example, we are in an organization and we have a server. Okay, this server is not like a normal computer. So for example, let's take like RAM. It will have RAM of like 200 GB and CPU of some 100 cores, and then hard disk of like 200 TB. And then let's consider you are running one application. So this application, let's consider it is using like 8 GB of RAM and 6 cores of CPU, and it uses some hard disk like some 200 GB. Okay, it uses this one. So we have lots of resources remaining, right, in this. So what this it will do, it will be like idle, like we will not be using, and it will be idle. So what we can do to use this one? So they introduced a technology called virtualization. So what exactly this virtualization does? So uh, virtual, like virtual means it is like imaginary. So we are splitting this server in an imaginary way, like this, for example. So we are splitting this virtualization, like this server, into different servers using this virtualization technology. So what we do, we use some tools, like we have like VMware, and then we have Citrix. So using these tools, we convert this single application, single server into multiple servers. So what happens? So using actually, we will have an host machine. This entire thing is called host machine. Inside this host machine, we will create the VMware, and inside VMware, we are like okay. The thing is like, okay, let me try one more thing. So we have the hardware, like RAM, CPU, everything, and then we have operating system, like some host operating system installed, and then we enable the virtualization. We enable the virtualization, and then we split the server into different parts. So this will be common. Virtualization is common. Operating system, like this is called host operating system. Host operating system is common, and hardware is common. So now we have this thing, VMwares. This is called VM1, VM2, VM3, VM4. So in this VM, we will be installing an operating system, and then app, OS, app, OS, app. So for example, here we have used Linux. For example, we can use Windows as well. Just for example, I am using Linux, and then here there is no need like you have to install Linux. You can use Windows or else Linux, anything. Here also same thing. Here also, like based on your requirement, you can use whatever operating system you need. So now what happened? Like these four applications, each one will use like 40 GB of RAM. So 40 into 4, we are consuming like almost 160 GB out of 200 GB. So we are better utilizing the resources which are available, so that like for whatever amount we have spent, we are utilizing it properly. So this technology is called virtualization. Okay, let's move to PPT. Okay, this is called virtualization and virtual machines. Okay, so we have Windows OS, like we have hardware, and then on top of hardware we have OS. On top of that we have virtualization. On top of that we are installing the operating system. Here they have mentioned Linux OS. It can be Windows, Mac, or whatever it is. So this hypervisor is called the virtualization technology. Using this hypervisor, we are like splitting the main hardware into multiple servers. Okay, these things are not so important. And then set up the Linux. So actually, I have shared the video. So we are using the VirtualBox for setting up the virtual machine. We will be creating the VirtualBox, and in VirtualBox, we will be installing this operating system. So we have Linux file systems. So as I told, Linux system will have root, and inside root we will have multiple folders. It is called directories. So it will be like bin, etc, opt, var, and then temp and mount. Many folders will be there. In Windows, we will have C drive, D drive, E drive, any drives you can split, right? So here it will be like single root, and we will have multiple folders in it. And in Linux, everything will be considered as a file. Everything will be considered as a file, like text documents, pictures, everything will be considered as a file. And then it supports devices like printer, keyboard, USBs, everything. Um, okay, these things. Just we can just see the important things alone. Okay. What is the difference between GUI and CLI? GUI is like graphical user interface, whereas CLI is for command line interface. So both we will be able to do the similar task using both, but we should be more comfortable with the command line interface so that we can do the tasks faster. Okay. Now let's go into VMware and see some practicals, because theory we can continue later as well. Let's go. So I have this virtual box ready, and then I will start it. Okay, you shouldn't be scared in using the terminals, because it may look scary, but actually it is very easy once you practice. The main thing is you guys need to practice. Like it will be like a regular thing. Initially, if you are just using Windows, you may feel like a little weird. But the thing is like it is pretty easy once you get the hands on. Okay, let it start. Okay, so the Ubuntu OS is ready. So let's go for terminal. Okay, this is called terminal. So normally, in case if we go to Windows or something, we will have the C directory, D directory, and inside that we will have multiple folders, right? So in Linux, how do we see all the folders or things? So we use the command called ls. ls means list. Okay, so it is just providing the list, but you don't know like which is the folder and which is the file. So here we call folder as directory. In Linux we call folder as directory. Okay, so we don't know which is for directory and which is file. So to know that one, so we will use the command called ll, or else you can use ls-l. So you're able to see, all the files with details. Like before, it has come simply it has given the name. Now you are able to see the date, and then who is the owner, and then file name. So and then how to differentiate whether it is a directory or file. In case if you want to find whether it is a directory or file, you have to see the first letter. Okay, if it is D, then it is a directory. Directory means folder, it is a folder. Okay, and we have something called Kafka cluster ML. This is a file because the files start with dash. Okay, if a thing starts with dash, then it is a file. If a thing starts with D, it is a directory, mean folder. Okay, we have this one. And then uh, in C, for example, if you take Windows, we have something called documents, and like inside documents we will have some other folder, and then inside that folder we have some other folder. So where do we stand? We stand in documents and then another folder and another folder. We know the path, right? So similarly, how do we see the same thing in Linux? To see the same thing in Linux, we use pwd. What does pwd means? Present working directory. If we enter, so we are in the path home Kafka. Okay, we are in this path. Okay, so okay, we are in this path, and then inside this Kafka, inside this folder, we have this many files. Okay, we are inside home, inside Kafka. Inside Kafka we have this many files. Okay, so okay, we have this many files, but I have to go into particular folder. For example, I have to go into this desktop folder. How we will go? We will use cd. So in Linux, what we call this one? We call this one directory, right? So we use cd. Cd means change directory. Change directory. So where I have to change this directory? I have to go into desktop. Okay, I do cd desktop and enter. Okay, now I have to see all the files inside desktop. Okay, I will use ll. Ll is a shortcut of ls-l. Okay, when I enter, I see three directories. Okay, these and all like simply simplify, it is, we can ignore this thing, and we have a folder directory called Kafka consumer app, and then we have to go inside this one. How we do? Change directory, cd Kafka consumer app, and enter. Again, if we have to see the contents of this one, this folder, we do ll, and there is nothing in this. And then I have to know correctly where I am at present, so that we can use pwd, present working directory. So where I am inside home, inside Kafka. Inside Kafka I have logged into desktop. Inside desktop I went to Kafka consumer app, and then I am at this location. So okay, I have come here, I have to go back again, I have to go back to desktop. Okay, or I have to go to Kafka, or else I have to go to home. How I will go? Again, we have to use cd. cd is change directory. Again, I have to change the directory, right? Means I have to change the folder. So I put cd and then dot dot. Okay, enter. So where I have pressed only once, so I might have gone back one step. Okay, from Kafka consumer app, I came back to desktop. From desktop to I have to go to Kafka. So what I do? Again I do cd dot dot, and when I do pwd, I am at Kafka home. Okay. Now we are clear. Now we are clear. Like to list all the directories and files, we do ll. And in case if you have to go to some folder, means directory, we use cd. And then when we do ll, again it will be listing. So okay, these things are fine. Now I have already, it is a directory. Okay, now I have to create a directory. How can I create a directory? So we have the command called mkdir. What is mk? Mk means make. Dir means directory. In English, we know what make directory means. Make directory means create a directory. But we shouldn't type as make. It should be mkdir. Directory means dir. Make directory. Okay, and then I have to create a directory, and I have to provide the name for it, right? I will give it as test. Okay, make directory test. So how I can check whether it is created or not? We can use ll. Okay, so if we see, the folder is created. So will we have any files in it? Because we have not created anything, right? So we will not we will not have any files. So how we can go into the test directory? Change directory, cd test, enter. So when we do ll, no files are there. Okay, now we have created the directory, fine. Now how we will create a file? Creating file, it can be done using touch, touch, touch file 1 or else file dot txt. Okay, when we do touch, when we do ll, we are able to see file dot txt. How do we know whether it is a file or directory? If you see dash, dash means it is file. Okay, okay, I have created the file. Okay, so in case if we go to Windows, if we want to see a file, we just click on this and we just tap, so that we will be seeing this one. But what exactly happens in here? So we have created the file. So how can we view the content of this file? So I have created the file, I have created the directory, but I want to see if we have a file, for example, we have a file should have some content, right? How can we see that one? We have a command called cat file dot txt. I don't see anything. Why? Because we have not written anything. So now I have to write into the file file.txt. How can I write? So we have a command called echo. So echo is like, if you go to a mountain and then if you say something, it will echo, right? It is same thing. If you echo something, it will directly go into that file. For example, I am writing my first file. Okay, and then where I have to put, I have this thing, I have to echo this one. This is the content. My first file is the content, and then I am doing echo. And where I have to echo? I have to echo into file.txt. Okay, I have to echo into file.txt. Now, how can I see the content of the file? I have already told you, right? Cat file.txt. If you see, before when I did, it didn't display anything. Now it is displaying my first file. Okay, now again I have to echo, like I have to type something. So I am adding the same thing and I am writing. Okay, I am entering. Again I will cat. If you see, I got my first file is this, but what I have written before, it is my first file, that is missing. Why? In case if we have to write multiple lines, if we do like this, it will be overwritten. So in case, so currently file.txt as my first file is this. But in case if you want to have multiple files like this, and then guys, like in Linux, if you want to use already used command, you can use up arrow. When we do up arrow, it will come. And then I will write something like my second file, but I should have both the lines, like my first line is this, my second line is this. How can we do that one? So we put double arrow. Okay, when we put double arrow and enter, and when we do cat, cat is for seeing the file. When we do cat, we are able to see both the files. My first file is this, my second file is this. Like this, you will be able to see the file. So what and all commands we have seen? We have seen ll, ls, cat, echo, touch, make directory. And then we have something called ls-a. So what is ls-a? In case if we have some files, hidden files, in case if we have to see that one, we can use ls-a, so that we will be even able to see the files which are hidden. So okay, how can we hide a file? Okay, ls. Now I have file.txt. Okay, now I want to hide this one. Okay, okay, actually it's not hiding. Not sure. So the files which starts with the dot, okay, those will be like hidden files. Normally it should be hide. Not sure. See, if you see this dot local is there, right? If you see this dot ssh, it starts with dot. Okay, these are hidden files. When we do ls-a, it will be visible. When we do just ll, okay, like here everything is visible, but actually it shouldn't be visible. So all the dot files are hidden files. In case if we have to see those things, we have to use ls-a. ls means list, a means all. So list all files is done using this one. And then we have something called like okay, we have a Linux machine, and then multiple users will be there. Like how can we check which user is currently logged in? To check which user is currently logged in, we can use command like who am I? Who am I? When we do who am I, we have Kafka. So I am the Kafka. Uh, so and then we have something like this, right? What is this? We have Kafka at Kafka VirtualBox. So who am I? Kafka. That Kafka is this one, Kafka. And then what is after at? What is this? This is actually the machine name. This is like username, and then this is the machine name. To see the user, we have to use UMI so that it will be displayed. Okay, and then we have a file. Okay, and then I have executed many commands, right? And I have gone to multiple paths, but I'm not sure like where what and all commands are used. So how can we check those things? We have a command called history. So when we type this one, we will get all the commands which we executed from beginning. So all the commands will be available. So to see all the commands, we will use history. Okay. So okay guys, can you guys please unmute and tell us like what are all the commands we used today?
Yeah, sure. We use list commands like ls, ls-l, and
Okay,
ll, ls-a.
okay,
And then to view the present working directory, pwd command and cd command for change directory.
okay.
cat to view the content of the file, and
Okay.
echo command to write something on the file. Ashok, I
Okay.
have a doubt here on echo
Okay.
command.
Okay.
We use right arrow, right, to write the content on the file.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
If you want to for writing the next line, we use to double arrow.
No.
If we
So
use one,
no, if you are right, you are using echo and then you are writing something. For
yeah,
example, you are writing one, okay, into
mm,
1.txt. So
yeah,
it will
correct.
have only one line. And
Mm,
then if you use again echo
mm,
2 and
okay.
1.txt, this
Huh.
previously you have used one, right? This will be
Yeah.
overwritten. It will overwrite.
Okay.
Because of that, you will be able to see only two. In case if you
Okay.
want
Yeah.
both one and two, then you have to use double arrow.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. That is what I had in
Yeah.
mind. What if we want to use multiple lines,
Yeah,
more
you
than
can.
two?
Yeah, you can you can use echo 3 double arrow
Okay. Mm,
1.txt, echo 4 double arrow 1.txt. So it will
okay.
continuously add everything.
Okay. So for double arrow, we use for continuously adding the next
Correct.
lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then what else we have used?
And who am I command to view the users and history to know what other command we used.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it, right?
Make
And the
directory,
make directory to create a folder,
touch.
touch to create a new file.
Yeah. So, okay, we have used the commands. Now, for example, we have to like write a script. Okay, how can we write a script? So, already we have seen the commands. Now, just we have to write a script. Okay,
Yeah.
it is okay. So, I have told Echo to write a file, right? So, um, and we have the command called touch. Touch is for creating a file. For example, I will write something called like this. So if we see, we have the file with new.sh. Okay. So and then okay, we have used echo command to write the lines, and then we can't do the same thing every time, right? So we have few tools called vi editor and nano editor. So using these things we can edit the files actually. Okay, let's take vi editor. So we will get a file like this. Okay, and in case if we have to write something, we have to press I. When we press I, it will insert. Okay. Okay, actually there is some issue with VA editor in this VM, so I will use nano. We have one more editor called nano, and then we are using new.sh. Okay, so actually we told we have used the commands, right? So now let's use the same commands and we can write a script. Okay, for example, here let's start writing the script. How the script starts? So all the shell scripts should start with something called shebang. Okay, shebang means hash and then exclamatory mark is called shebang. Then we have to pass in this path bin bash. Okay, now this should be the first line. No matter which shell script you write, this will be the first line. And then, so what commands we used? We used echo, right? Echo. And then, um, for example, we have to say something, list the files. Okay, we have to list the files and directories. So how we can list the files and directories? What is the command?
ls hyphen
ls hyphen
l.
l. Okay, okay, and then we have to check like um, you are currently in. So you want to check your current working directory. How you will check?
pwd.
So when we pass in the commands, right?
Yeah.
So we have to use dollar and then pwd. Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
and then um, which user you are? Echo who am I? Okay,
Okay.
and then for example, like we have to make directory. Okay, make directory and then um, so mm, and then we have one more command. Okay, that is called read. In English, what does read means? We read something, based on that we will acquire the knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Similarly, um, we will get a name. Okay, echo means it will just display. So echo, okay, then what we will do, we will use read. Just like normal English only, read. So what it will read, it will read folder name. Okay, we need to read about the folder name. So it has to be displayed, right? So
Yeah.
here it is like just echoing, like enter the folder name, and then it will read. What it will read, it will read the folder name. And then if you have to create the folder, what is the command?
Make directory.
Mkdir. Okay,
Yeah.
mkdir. And then you have to, for before everything, you have to pass this dollar.
Okay.
Okay, okay. So we have used the commands, right? So what
Yeah.
commands we used? We used ls hyphen l. Okay, what this will do, this will list the uh, list of directories. And what this will do, it will show the present working directory. Who am I? So only these commands are there. Okay, this we already just now we learned, right?
Yes.
Read and then and this echo is nothing but it will just give whatever we have shown. Okay, now I have to save this file. Okay, control X, yes, and then enter. So then I have to change the permission of this file. So to change the permission, actually we can go through that as well. Now just I will complete this one. Okay, now previously it is in white color, right? So now it might have changed to green color. Only when it changed to green color, it will be like executable. So in the script, what and all we used the basics commands which we learned today. Okay, now let me try to run that script. So how can we run? First we have to put dot and then slash and then new dot sh and enter. So what I am seeing, so it is listing the files and directories, totally 12. So it is listing these things, and then where I am currently, you are currently in home Kafka desktop. Okay, you are logged in as Kafka. So I am Kafka user, right? So I am logged in as Kafka, and my current directory is this one, and then these are the files which is there. If you see, uh, those are the files it is in that directory. Test new.sh Kafka consumer app. Only these three are there, right? So it has listed everything. Correct, na?
Yeah.
So you are currently in this directory. You are logged in as this user. So now let's create the folder. So it is asking enter the name of the folder. So what can be the name? We can give a name like um, testing script. Okay, I have given the name as testing script. Enter. So it is saying your folder testing script created successfully. Let's check whether it is created successfully or not. See, testing script directory is created. So we just automated this one, right?
Yeah.
So so you have to, for example, you get a task like you have to create multiple files like this. So now let's edit the script. Okay, now we have used most of the commands which we commonly use. So actually shell scripting is nothing but the commands which we use. We should know the actual end thing. For example, if we want to do something, actually we should know like what exactly we are doing. So if we know what exactly we are doing, we can just use the commands which we regularly use, and then we can create the tasks. That is called shell scripting. Nothing much apart from that. So now I have created folder. Okay, similarly I have to create a file. Okay, so I write echo means it will just display there. So in case we want something like it should good look, it should look good, right? If we run in script, so I will use like this. Sleep 2 means it will sleep for 2 seconds. So now we are going to create a file. Okay, it will
So
ask.
what does that mean? Like sleep too?
Sleep means I will show you while the script runs. Okay, it
Okay.
sleep means just like sleep. It will sleep for 2 minutes. It will not do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Computer will sleep.
Okay.
Okay. So previously when we executed script, immediately within fraction of seconds it displayed everything, right?
Yeah.
So when we use sleep, it will not do anything for that duration. So even if you want to display something like this, even that has to be like echo.
Okay.
So you guys have to practice, even though it looks simple. If you guys practice with all the commands, na, then you will get an idea. Like you can create cool scripts actually. Control X and then yes, enter. Okay. Now again,
Control X, yes, right?
Control X and then you have to press Y so that it will go. So now again I am executing the script. Okay. Now see it for 2 seconds it didn't do anything because I given sleep 2. Okay. Now it is asking enter the name of the file. For example, if I have to enter the name, okay, let me give it as Ashok. Okay. And then it is waiting. Are you able to see? It waited for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
That is sleep. It will wait for 2 seconds. Now see, it waited for 5 seconds before enter your name came. Enter the name of the folder. That is
Mm-hmm.
because like I have kept sleep as 5. So
Fine. Yeah.
now your file Ashok is created. Now you enter the name of the folder. You can create like DevOps. Okay.
Yeah.
So the folder is created. So if you do LL, you are able to see a folder called folder.
DevOps.
How you can find? Using
D.
D. And then it is created a file called Ashok. How you can find? Using dash.
Yeah.
So these things are created. So similarly, if you want to do something, for example, simple things like you created a file and then you created a folder. Now what you can do? You can move this file, the file which is created here, you can move into this folder. Okay, we can do that one, and then you can create the script like once this is done, you want to delete this file name or else this folder name, or else once it is created it should ask whether you want to rename or you have to delete. If you pass in yes, it has to delete. So you can do those things using this read command, and then you can use echo commands, those things. So
Okay.
this is the simple script which you can create using the commands which we have created today. So today we have covered basics. So PPTs are enough. In case if you need, you can go through. I will share. So actually, we can go through the actual content. Um,
So can you show that sample script once again? I just want to take a screenshot.
okay. You can try yourself, but the first line should be shebang line always in the
Okay.
shell script, and then you use the simple script, simple commands which we used. You can
Hmm.
use pwd, ls, ll, echo, and then
Okay.
uh, from tomorrow actually we can use other commands as well. So
Hmm.
you guys just request this thing. uh, okay, if you request, I have created the commands. Okay, here you will be able to see everything. So we have covered ls, cd, pwd, make directory, and then in case if you have to do you see this command make directory hyphen p. When you pass hyphen p, you can create multiple directories in the single go. Okay,
Okay.
so you can use this one, and then this is for removing. We can see that one, and copying also we can see, move we can see, touch we have seen today, and then ch mode, ch one, cat we have seen, list tail head, nano, nano today we have seen, right? Editor and va editor. Actually in this virtualbox it is not running, but normally va editor also will be there. And then this disk usages, and then uname, lscpu, uptime, And then we have few commands related to networking, ifconfig for checking the IP, ping, curl command, wget. So these commands we can complete in tomorrow's class, okay?
Yeah.
So tomorrow's class totally we can complete this one. So what you guys do, you guys can practice the commands, like simple commands which we used today. Like now you are seeing, right? By seeing it will look like so easy, but when you start writing the script you will face some issues. When you face some issues, you will try to troubleshoot those things. Otherwise, just by seeing and if you come without practicing, it may look simple, but you will forget, and you will not learn the like when you make mistakes you will learn. Otherwise you will gradually make mistakes when we use other commands and when we use tough scripts. um, Okay, guys, then